Hello, I am Becky Birdsong, your instructor, for those of you that are not sure. I am from Longview, and there are a few things that I just wanted to touch base on in review of the chapters 1 through 3 that we had last week that I would like to, like I say, just comment on and just kind of expand on. One of them is expectations. I know that probably all of you know this, but I just wanted to just emphasize the fact of how important expectations are. You know, if you expect someone to do well, and as a student, especially a low-performing student, and they really like you, then they are going to work their tail off to live up to those expectations. If you notice, I'm real strict about deadlines of turning work in, and I have found the stricter that I have gotten, the better people do it. And those expectations are for you because, you know, when you start teaching school, then your expectations for your students is to get your work in on time. So why should I think that you should be any less? I know that there are things that go on, and time to time there are things that happen that cause you to do that, and I work with you, but overall my expectation is you're in a course, you work, you turn your work in on time. Most people do that, and it is not fair to the people that work very hard to get theirs in, and for everybody not to do the same. So expectations for your students. It's very important that you set those expectations and you ask the students to meet them. And like I say, the higher your expectations are, the greater there are. I had a student one time that I was working in content mastery at the time, and we were working with kids in math, and we had a little boy that could not stand his classroom teacher. I mean, couldn't stand her. And after really figuring out what the problem was, he was a little special ed child, precious little boy. She had no expectations for him. She put him over, moved his desk over away from everybody, and would give him lower level work, which was too easy for him, and he would just do it, and he knew she had no expectations for him, and so he couldn't stand her. And it was really hard working with him, trying to get him to go back to class, have a good attitude. When he came to our class, we had very high expectations for him, and he just bloomed and blossomed in math, strictly because we really cared and had those expectations for him. So that can make all the difference in the world to a child. So I encourage you to always have the very, very highest expectations for your students, for all of them. It doesn't matter what level they're on. Another thing I wanted to touch base on was advocates. You know, we have all kinds of things going on in our classrooms. We have mentors coming in from the community, all kinds of things, but there are a lot of kids that don't end up getting a mentor. One thing that we did, and I was in charge of when I was teaching, is we set up a mentor program within our school. And we had all the teachers to give me a list of students that needed somebody to mentor them, pretty much. And so what we did is we took everybody in our school building that was willing to help, and they were assigned a child. Now what we did is we just touch base with them, say hello to them, speak to them when they had a test or they had a question. They could come see us. If we needed to just give them a little bit of encouragement, and it just made a huge difference in those children just to know that there was somebody in that building that cared about them, that was, pardon me, their special person that cared truly about them. And something like that, and it doesn't have to take a lot of time, but you can do it within your own building. It doesn't have to be people to come in outside, and can make a huge impact on a child. I want to talk just a little bit about the developmental characteristics of this middle school. As most of you probably have read and know, being around kids, is at this age their peers are their role models. They look to their peers for everything, for guidance, for answers to questions, how to act, how to look, how to be, how to work. I know my middle daughter was my real social one between all three of my girls. and she was always in the Gifted and Talented program. And when she was in middle school, she decided she didn't want to be in there. And it was strictly because her friends were not in there. All of her buddies were not in that particular class, and that particular class met all day, one particular day of the week. So she had to be away from her friends during that time. Well, it was a battle. It was a battle all year long. She did not want to go. She would cry. She would do everything she could. This was when she was in the 5th grade. And I worked with her teacher and worked with the teacher, and we finally worked through it. But that particular year, it was all just tied to her wanting to be with her peers. So you have to be very, very aware of that. This is a time that they start pulling away from the adults and parents, that they're not near as important. They listen to what they say, but their peers are the most important. So really understand that, really cater to that, because you can save yourselves a lot of grief in understanding that fact and knowing that. Now, on a side of that, there are a couple of things that I want you to be very aware of. That's good that they want to be with their peers, they want to socialize, but you need to make sure, as a teacher, as a parent, but as a teacher, monitor what they're doing. Watch it. I have a teacher friend one time that's told me that she had met this girl and their parents. They had moved to this school, and she was in the 9th grade. She watched the girl get involved with the wrong kind of people. And she would see her in the hall, she would watch her get with these people, and she never said a word. She never contacted the parents. She kept getting more and more concerned, but she kept it to herself. She did not involve anybody. She did not contact the parent. Well, the little girl ended up pregnant. And she said, from now on, I have made a vow that if I ever see something that concerns me with the kids getting in with the wrong crowd or involving themselves, I will contact the parent, because you know the saying that it takes a village to raise a child. And that's what God wants us to do. He wants us to help our children to make sure that we're guided in the right way. So make sure that if you see something that is not quite right with these kids and their peers, intervene, get the counselor involved, have the counselor talk to the parent or the child, but don't just sit back and watch it happen and not do anything and then end up regretting it because the child has ruined their life. So we can't save all the children, but if we save some that we see, then it can make a huge difference in the world. So I urge you to do that. Also, let's see, I had one more thing written down here, and I'm trying to see what it is. I apologize for that. I guess that's it. I had made me a list. I am enjoying working with all of you. I'm sorry that the course starts off with a group project. I know it makes it very difficult at the very beginning, but this course was written by someone else. All we do is follow them. But there are reasons, because middle school teachers work very, very close together. So it's important that we have those types of group things. I look very forward to seeing your videos to understand how you teach and what makes you tick. It's really interesting how you can get to know students through writing. So I really enjoy doing that and reading what you're writing. So if you have any questions, please contact me anytime. I'm more than happy to help you. I'm very available and always there to answer your questions quickly. Thank you, and have a super, super day.